I'm not where I want to be, but I'm in what was once a dream. So if I do some quick math, the future equals a dream come true. Since 1992, In All Honesty, a podcast by OLAVEORAWO.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the In All Honesty podcast. My fabulous name is OLAVEORAWO, and we are recording this episode at home. Well, we had a little hiccup. We were not able to access the studio, and therefore my guests could not come on, and we could not shoot the last born episode. But that is being worked on, and by next week, we've literally just postponed the episode to next week. So bear with me, just a little. But right now, I'm going to do a filler episode. It's going to be right about 10 minutes. It won't be long, but it's just me discussing something that might actually feed even into a later episode. So let's talk about it. So today, I felt alarmed because so far, you know how people now have been sending me dilemmas. Some people just want to talk to me. So people reach out to me. And so far, why I found this specific thing worth addressing is because it's come from 4 different girls. So far, I found 4 different girls sending in similar stories asking me, Olive, what do I do now? And I am here to basically just now discuss that with you. So what is... I think what is disturbing is that all these 4 girls are very young, 19, 20. I think the oldest were about 21, 19, 20, right about there, because they're in their first or second year in campus. And all these 4 girls, they don't even know each other. These are people who are just sending me their dilemmas at random times. These people are in different universities. They're in different places, in different towns, but they're experiencing the same thing. And I want to call this episode the HOBOSEXUAL edition, the HOBOSEXUAL special. You will understand why. Now, these girls, the dilemma that they are in and why I find it worth addressing is that these girls are now supporting men, and all of them are actually supporting men who are older than them. So most likely you'll find like it's a 4th year guy, or it's a 3rd year guy, or it's someone who's just left campus who still doesn't have his footing. And what they do is that they've come into this girl's house, technically your hostel because you're still in school. And these girls are now providing for these men fully. They offer food, they offer shelter, sex is on the table, and I just felt cringe. By the time these girls are all reaching out to me, there's one common feeling they all have, and that is I'm exhausted. Honestly. Waking up every day, going to look for, like always thinking, what are we going to eat for lunch? What are we going to get? Oh, my man does not have this. I need to. Literally, there are people being taken care of like babies, by literal babies, because a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old, surely, don't you feel it in your heart to even try? And what breaks my heart is some of these girls don't even have an income of their own. Like most of them are hustling. You know, let me tell you, if there's something girls will always do, is hustle. Some of them are hustling here and there, but can you imagine that the money they are using to feed these men is money sent from home? My parent is somewhere sending money for me to be able to sustain myself in campus. And I am feeding a whole human being, a full-grown man. Now, why I'm calling this the HOBOSEXUAL edition is because it's not just unique to these 4 girls. It's very common even with women, generally just women. A lot of women are out here literally raising grown-ass men as little children. You're providing everything. And I'm just like, where did the shame go? Men used to be very egotistical about them being the providers, them being the ones who have, them being the ones who can be able to spoil their women. I understand. Here's the thing. I have nothing against being kept. I have nothing against being a sugar baby. You do that, please. You go live your best life. You want to get a sugar mama, want to get a sugar daddy, you live your best life and make sure you live it to the fullest. What I have a problem with is men leeching on women who don't have. You see, even when we have the discussion of only don't date broke men, only date men who can spoil you and all that. Usually if you're targeting men for money, we always advise you cannot target men who are your age. You have to target men who are 50, people who are already established, people who've already worked for their own. You cannot get, you're 28, you get a man who's also 28, and you want him to book you flights to Dubai. Like, if you cannot afford that flight, how is he supposed to afford that flight? Like, both of you are working on the same clock, right? So I don't have a problem with that sugar baby lifestyle. It's just, who's your target? You cannot leech on someone who does not have. You cannot leech on someone who already is struggling to even sustain their own lives. They have to still sustain yours. So I'm here to just say, be very mindful of men. I'll just talk to girls for once. I know I always want to be all inclusive, but let me just talk to girls for this once. Be very keen about men who are very, very comfortable about you paying for things, men who are very comfortable about you taking up everything. Because I don't understand how a man is very comfortable in your hostel, in your house, which you call a hostel. You don't even have much to offer, and this man does not come with food, does not work to bring anything. He's not the one paying this rent. This man has his hair on his body does not crawl at the thought of how he's leeching on another girl who doesn't even have means. So I'm just here to say, be very keen on men who want to leech, men who are very comfortable with letting you take care of things. And I understand sometimes it's 50-50. I know a lot of people have talked about going 50-50. Here is the thing. I myself don't mind 50-50. I myself am very open to, if we're going to go out on a date, just tell me prior. And here's the thing. I know sometimes men are just like, oh, if I tell her I don't have the money or something, she will judge me in a certain way. How many times have you called us prostitutes? And is it written on our forehead that if you go somewhere, someone will go? And sometimes people do things out of spite. Sometimes people will just call you broke. A girl will just call you broke because they want to trigger something in you so that you can spend on them. Why don't you have your own stance? Why don't you have confidence in yourself that I'm not broke, I'm just thinking logically that I don't want to spend my money on this or on that? So the idea of being scared of how you'll be labeled honestly doesn't make sense to me. Just be a better human being. And as for women, be very careful and watch out for men who are very comfortable when you are providing, when you are offering things, when you are like, even when you're going out on dates. For me personally, at this point where I'm at in my life, if you've ever been to my house, if you're a man and you've ever been to my house, if you and I have ever met at a place together and ate or drank, and we split that bill 50-50. Trust me, there is no way in my life I'm ever picturing you as a romantic partner. That is for me. It's very personal to me. But for other people, you can figure it out. Because I feel things as basic as the first date should at least be catered to by the man. And if you don't have it, because sometimes I understand. I was even talking to a girlfriend of mine the other day, and she was saying, oh, I remember when this guy took me to Pizza Inn for a date. And I told her it's not a bad thing. There was a time when Pizza Inn was actually our league of where we go for dates. So it's okay. It's not like at that time we'd have met, we were supposed to be taken to 5-star hotels. Like right now, there's a league you're in. You cannot go to Pizza Inn for a date. So it really just depends on the dynamic and where you're at in life. But be very keen about men who want to leech on you. And I will tell you for a fact, there's so many men in this city who look so damn good. They look like they have their shit together. But if you investigate, all that is built on the back of a woman. So just be very careful as you're going out there. If you at any point feel any sort of discomfort, do not ignore it. Do not ignore it. That is your gut telling you that you're not comfortable, and it's about time that you let that go. You need to feel comfortable with helping your man. You need to feel like he's also meeting you halfway or meeting you 70%. Like, just be very careful about men who are leeching on women. They are parasites. But with that said, that's our episode of the day. This is a filler episode. Watch out for our next episode on Last Bones next week, and this will also feed into a later episode. So don't you worry about it. But with that said, Until next week, be safe. My fabulous name is OLAVEORAWO, and this is the In All Honesty podcast. Bye.
Next on the In All Honesty podcast.
So, are you an only child or a twin, and you feel like maybe the episodes on firstborns, lastborns, and middle kids does not really accurately represent your experience growing up? You can let me know so that I know whether I should put together an episode for twins and only kids, because I know your experiences could be unique as well. But we've had the firstborns episode, we have the lastborns episode coming up, and of course we have the middleborns episode coming up later on as well. So you can also just listen to those and let me know whether I should put an episode just for you guys, because someone told me, oh, I feel like twins have been left out. Oh, I feel like only kids have been left out. So let me know. You know, you can always talk to me through my DMs at OLAVEORAWO, or email me your story at oliveorawo@gmail.com. Bye.
I'm not where I want to be, but I'm in what was once a dream. So if I do some quick math, the future equals a dream come true. Since 1992, In All Honesty, a podcast by OLAVEORAWO.